Speaking of, we're here with America's Governor, Ron DeSantis. How are you, sir?
Hey, Mark. How's it going?
It is a pleasure. Are you still in San Francisco?
No. Gosh, no. I only lasted there about 20 minutes. And just in the 20 minutes, I saw defecation on the street, heroin use, people smoking crack cocaine. I mean, right in the open. It was almost like a post-apocalyptic civilization. It was sad.
Used to be one of the prettiest cities on the face of the earth, right?
Yeah, and I mean, wealth, and there was vibrant and all this, and this is a result of leftist ideology being imposed on the government and on society, and it's caused the entire society to basically collapse. I mean, when you don't enforce criminal laws against people, they've had prosecutors do that, people flee. The number of businesses that were boarded up was unbelievable, and of course, San Francisco had one of the most draconian COVID lockdowns of any place in the world, and that took a huge toll. So this is a government-induced dystopia that they've created. This is leftism put in practice in raw form, and those are the results that you get.
And isn't this really illustrative of what the Democrats on the left are capable of doing to the entire country? I mean, destroying what's so strong. Isn't it kind of what Joe Biden is doing?
Yeah, I think, look, Biden is clearly, not with it, but the people that are moving policy that are surrounding him in the White House, these are leftist ideologues, and they're pushing in this direction, absolutely. Biden doesn't have any substantive criticism of anything they've done in places like Chicago or San Francisco. In fact, he was there when I was there. He was there doing fundraisers and stuff like that. So this is their vision. And, what I tell people, because, Mark, a lot of people have moved to Florida, and they tell the tales about, I came from Chicago, or I came from Washington State, all these places. And I cannot identify a single jurisdiction that has been governed by leftist politicians, city or state, that would be considered a success story, even taking me out of my conservative frame of mind and say, okay, where is there a vibrant place that's left? Maybe they have higher taxes, things we don't like, but is there any place? And the reality is, these problems are in all of these places because it stems from the ideology when it's made into policy. And so I don't think we've ever had an example of more starker differences between a Florida model, what we've done, and the model of the Illinois and the New Yorks or the California. And it's sad because, it used to be in this country, maybe Democrats a little more liberal than we like, but it shouldn't lead to a city just collapsing. And yet that's what we're seeing all across this country.
100% right. Now, let me ask you this. You got this guy, Kevin Newsom. He's got something for you. No offense, Governor. He's obsessed with you. And he used to be the mayor of San Francisco. Now he's the governor of the state, obviously. Obviously, he thinks he's presidential timber. You look at L.A., you look at San Francisco, you look at the border on the southern border, California. You look at their tax rates. You have no state income tax. I think their highest rate is over 13%. It is a state in hugely deep debt. Why does he think he's presidential material? I mean, he's pretending he's not, but obviously he's trying to take you on in order to try and lift his own appeal, I guess.
Well, I think part of his obsession with Florida stems from the fact that his in-laws actually moved from California to Florida during our administration, and they left during his administration.
Wait a minute, hold on now. That's breaking story. Just promise me one thing. They didn't move to where my house is.
No. So they moved to, I won't say where, but they moved, and I was campaigning for re-election last year, so it was sometime probably in this 2020, and I'm doing like an event. It was actually a fundraiser. They're going around the table, and his father-in-law introduced himself, and he said, my son-in-law is his California governor. So his in-laws moved to Florida. They are proud Florida residents, and they were supporters of mine for a re-election campaign. So I think that may have a little bit to do with it as well. But I think that this is a state. if you go to California, I mean, I know a lot of your listeners are there. A lot of people visited. Topography, amazing. They have so many like natural advantages, and it's the state for decades people would try to get to. And really, I would say after World War II was kind of like the height of what it meant to be a successful middle-class American dream type thing. And you had all the innovation, all kind of stuff. And they never lost population for their entire history as a state until he became governor. And now they've hemorrhaged wealth, they've hemorrhaged population, and this is just something that's never happened. And you're right about their debt. The state of Florida, our state-level debt is like $17 billion. California's state-level debt is hundreds of billions of dollars. And they're bigger than us by 40%, but they shouldn't have that much more debt. Our surplus is $15 to $20 billion, depending on the revenue forecast. They're running a $30 billion deficit in California. Our unemployment rate's 2.6%. Theirs is 4.1%. And so, you look at this, and I think what they'll cite are some of the historical advantages California has. No question. They've had a lot of stuff. But what's happened in the last 4 or 5 years, and it's been a downward spiral for the state.
Let me ask you this: on the Republican side, you're running for the nomination. Are you finding, and you're going to an awful lot of places, are you finding people are incredibly concerned about the country, and more of them are interested in your campaign?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think people know, look, obviously we would be running, all of us would be opposing, a Democrat. We're Republicans. But I think right now people have a sense that something's just off kilter with the country. You have things like men competing in women's sports, when you have woke ideology and things like the military, things just need a restoration of sanity and normalcy. And I think they've seen what we've done in Florida as being one of the few who's been willing to push back successfully against the insanity and actually say, no, in Florida, we are going to be a refuge of freedom, and we are not going to indulge in the nonsense. And that's one of the main reasons people have been attracted to Florida, because we're standing up for common sense.
We're going to have the governor for one more segment. We'll be right back.